NSFW. People who got their nudes leaked. How did it affect your life? This wasn't nudes or photos of myself, but it was a childhood family friend. She grew up into this attractive, busty blonde who is amazingly smart and kind. One day I'm on a streaming website, not porn, and bam, meet hot singles in your area. It was a photo of her in her graduation dress. It was the creepiest thing I've ever seen. It was taken from her Facebook profile that is set to private and somehow made its way to this AD. I didn't know what to do, so I quickly closed it. After a short while thinking about it, I decided it would be best to tell her. I tried to find it again so I could show it to her, but it was like a ghost. I must refresh that site 1,000 times. Found nothing. I love the internet, but when it happens to you or somebody you know, it's quite shocking. I had posted this in a previous thread. I'll include all of the edits I made then as well since people's responses seem to be the same. Also, I'm a dude. This was a really crazy and stressful part of my life. Luckily the repercussions weren't as bad as some others in this thread. I've learned from the experience, which I appreciate. I had no idea that my pictures were posted until a lawyer from California messaged me on Facebook informing me somebody had posted my nudes, with my Facebook and Twitter links underneath on one of those revenge websites. I still don't know exactly who did it. The lawyer who contacted me was working on taking the website down as a class suit. It was a few months of stress, random people adding me on Facebook, and praying nobody I knew would see. Thankfully the website got shut down within 3 months or so. I was also only 16/17 in the pictures. Happened about 6 to 7 years ago. Shout out to that lawyer though. He was a big help and made me feel as comfortable as possible, assuring he was going to have it shut down and not to pay any takedown fees. Update. I took a look through my messages. The website was got posted. The owner got 18 years in prison. I worked for a meme site as the community manager for about 2 years. An ex sent some photos to one of the more active users on the site and they apparently got passed around off-site quite a lot. As a woman adminning a site that was 70% male, this caused a few problems. Most of it was the usual stuff. Just sending me shitty messages and calling me a slut. Admin by injection implying I had slept my way into the job. And other insults implying that I couldn't do my job. Those were manageable. The biggest, though, was this past December when a disgruntled user who had a history of being creepily sexually aggressive to me and to other female users started emailing me from a fake email. He was being super sexual and weird and said stuff about my personal life that he shouldn't know. It ended with him threatening to post my nudes on the site. He was one of the more prolific posters of content on the site. Very well known. And I had to ban his account and block his IP. And I filed a police report about his threat. Then I spent the next month getting shitty messages from all of his cronies about what a bitch I am for banning his account and how they'd never seen him behave like that, so I must be lying. Yeah, no shit, you hadn't seen that happen. He does it in private and only to women. I quit my job shortly before this happened, actually, and was only still adminning because I had been asked and paid to help my former employer transition the community because they were shutting the site down. So, after about a month it had kind of solved itself. But I think things would have been very different if I was still working there. You don't with my job. Everyone on the internet is a dick. I accidentally uploaded a risque pic of myself in work uniform with dick hanging out to my Snapchat story, instead of sending it privately. It was up for like an hour before I realized. I know people saw it, but only one person has ever mentioned it. It doesn't seem like anything has changed. Risque. We have very different definitions of this word apparently. Ex-girlfriend sent intimate photos of me to my friends after we broke up. They ended up going around my town. Some people sent him further on. Woke up about 2 weeks after it all began to a message from a girl from my hometown, 9 hours away. She saw them, knew immediately it was me, birthmark on my chest, and got back in touch after 12 years of silence to see if I was okay. How did my ex-girlfriend affect my life by spreading my nudes? She got me my current girlfriend. I got my phone stolen last year, and it had photos of me and my girlfriend having sex. Her face is completely visible in it. I'm scared to death that one day they'll show up on the internet like Reddit, or that the sick who stole my phone kept them for himself. If they haven't tried to manipulate you with them yet, they probably wiped it and sold it already. I had an ex show the one pic she had of me to all her friends and a few of mine. I like to think she did it to hurt me, but it kind of backfired for her. A couple of her friends said it was not bad, and months later at a party her sister brought it up and a friend who hadn't seen the pic said she felt left out, wanted to see. There's an old sewage department saying, if you got a nice drain pipe, there's no reason to hide it. Not me so much as the poor bastards that saw them. I hear there's a support group now. I posted some pictures on Gonerwild when I was 19. A guy at work saved him and would tell people I sent him to him. Then he'd go on about how I think I'm hot. But I'm not. How I promised to do all these depraved things with him, but he wasn't going to go ahead with it because I was ugly. It terrified me because he told all his department. So I told the managers and they talked to him. He was leaving soon, so they didn't do anything but wait for him to go. Still a painful memory. Had an ex threaten 16-year-old me that he was gonna post some nudes of me. He was like 20 at the time. Long story filled with daddy issues and low self-esteem. My next message back was, oh that's right, you are in possession of child pornography. I hope the cops don't find out about that. Never heard another word from him. None. My co-workers saw it. They moved on. It was actually rather positive. I was seriously depressed and I completely lacked confidence at the time. Out of nowhere, I started getting all these new friend requests on Facebook. All gay men. Lol. I was confused. And I could feel the beginnings of dread bubbling in my stomach. My friend contacted me and said that this girl, Morgan, was telling everyone in my town that my nudes were on the net and where to find them. Morgan apparently detested me even though I barely knew her. Some chick I had been talking to a while back posted my nudes to Is Anyone Up?, a website to share non-consenting people's photos. She posted links to all my social media accounts, where I lived, etc. I left my face out of the nudes, but my tattoos and hair were visible. At first I was mortified. I just wanted to cry. Everything was going wrong for me at that time. Then, I noticed how everyone commenting was complimenting me. I probably should have felt disgusted, but the comments were extremely flattering. I also saw that Morgan, using her real name, had commented to tell people how ugly I was and how I was the scum of the earth, etc., which the commenters were none too pleased about. They were actually defending me. Lastly, when I made the front page for popular posts on the site, I was actually ecstatic. I had never felt so good about myself before. What was intended to be a vicious attack on me actually boosted my confidence and pulled me out of my depression. A few days after all of this happened, the site was finally and forcibly shut down. I heard rumors that the FBI was involved, but I never saw anything to verify that. So the impact it would have had on my life was cut short, thankfully, before word of it reached someone in my family. As I was 17 at the time, the shame and embarrassment that would have brought upon me, in their eyes, would have been unbearable, regardless of how positive the initial situation made me feel. My sister once took a photo of her cat sitting in her shower and took her a couple of hours to realize the photo she uploaded on Instagram had her completely naked reflection in the glass of the shower. I was at a party that got out of hand and there was a hidden camera there. There is video of me having sex, but fortunately I'm pretty far back from the camera and there is another couple more in the foreground. I'm recognizable, especially for about 30 seconds. But only barely. I could plausibly deny it is me. 3 people have asked about it. With 2 I played dumb and said it wasn't me. They may or may not have believed me. It doesn't really matter. The other knows for sure because she recognizes the room decor and knows it has to be me. It's a little awkward, but there isn't much I can do about it. She seems to be keeping quiet about it. The guy from the couple in the foreground confronted the guy who hid the camera. Some punches were thrown. Am I misreading this, or your party broke out into an orgy? That's a bit more than got out of hand, lol. Who wants more fruit punch? Hey, why is everyone having sex? Stop it. This is getting out of hand. Sigh. Fine. Unzips. I've been modeling since I was 18. Nudes. Fetish. Pretty much anything that wasn't explicit. I've shot it. I'm in a few books. A few galleries. A lactation clinic in Miami has my naked ass in full color print right in their waiting room. Someone tried to leak a few hundred photos on my Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, etc. I keep my personal life pretty separate from my professional one, so I'm guessing they assumed that compartmentalizing meant that my modeling was a secret. It wasn't. There were a few confused comments. My extended family had a few choices words for me, but other than that, nothing besides a few laughs. Honestly, my only question out of all of that was, why would a lactation clinic want a picture of your butt? I was at a liquor store with my buddy and the cashier was some guy we sort of knew through friends. He started giggling uncontrollably and wouldn't tell us why, but finally told my friend that he had a photo of me on his phone. Turned out a high school boyfriend had taken a naked photo of me while I was sleeping and shared it with this guy and possibly others. So there was an underage nude of me around at least 2 years after it had been taken. It didn't affect my life much other than feeling violated as and it makes me sick to think about it and think about who else may have seen it, etc. A friend blackmailed me. I went to the police. I couldn't report him because I was a minor at that time. They contacted my parents and the guy's parents. My parents convinced me to not push things further into a legal cause. I now regret it sincerely. Because he leaked them. Didn't learn a thing. Blackmailed another girl, and he is now studying law to become an attorney. About the actual leaking, my friends backed me up and refused to see them, so it didn't influence my social life luckily. His potential state bar would probably be interested to hear this story. Yes. This. Absolutely tell the state bar this shit.